So today we're going to discuss strengths of quantitative research. In the factual quality of quantitative research and its general ability to a population becomes the basis of its strength. Published as a paper evaluating the strength and limitation of qualitative and quantitative research approaches. In this subsection, we are going to list down and briefly describe each of the strengths of quantitative research. First strength, analysis of data is assisted with statistical method. These are mathematical tools in which numbers can be processed to become more meaningful. Simple statistical measures such as determining the mean and median and the mode of a data set can also assist researchers in reducing the bulk of data to make it easier to understand. So analysis using statistics also provides unbiased results. So if we're talking about analysis data, so you have to identify the numbers, okay, according to your research question. So you gather all the data and then put that one in a table, and then you have to compute the mean and the median. Okay? Large-scale research can be undertaken. Due to many data collection methods can be employed in quantitative research that are relatively easy to administer. Research with a large number of samples is possible. This also allows researchers to make a more comprehensive and generalizable conclusion for the entire population. Even though it is a large scale or size, you can compress the size because you're going to make an average. Okay, so gather all the data results and then compute only the average. Mostly on the quantitative research, you do averaging. Data can be presented in graphical or tabular form. Other than statistical analysis, researchers can analyze data using graphical and tabular presentation. Numerical data summarized in tabular or graphical form aid researchers in making sense them better. So usually your graphic data is more on tabular, no, per table. So weakness of research or of quantitative research. The following list describes the weaknesses of quantitative research. Large sample size requires a lot of time and effort. Yes. The goal to generalize the result of quantitative study requires a larger sample size when can be easy for many researchers. These requirements increase the cost of research and the time frame become longer. So the more the data is, let's say, bulky, the larger the data, you are going to allot more in, let's say, gathering, especially on the statistical method you use. So statistical analysis of data requires an expert to perform. So poor knowledge of inadequate skills in statistics might negatively affect the outcome of a study. So kinahanglan nga you need a group member who knows how to compute mathematically, especially on the statistical method. But on the quantitative research, it depends upon what type of data you are using. So for example, some researchers use only let's say averaging, no? Average only, then, or total. So you total the result, total, then average. You total the result on the column and you do the averaging. So rows and columns. Total the rows, average. Total the column, average. And then get the result in statistical method. So quantifying and reducing observations to just pieces of numerical values makes it too simplistic. So numerical values can only answer the questions of what, and it is often difficult to use these values in answering the whys and the hows of the phenomena. So if quantitative research uses numbers, basically your conclusion is based on numbers, not based on the conclusion of a text or a paragraph. Okay? So quantify mo ta, no? So ang atong basis, it's more on the numbers or the result. Like example, the based on the flood control system of the city, most of the people uses plastic. So, unsa man ni siya? Pila man ka pilay average tonnage ba siguro, no? Sa usa ka day, in one day, that one particular barangay will throw trashes, plastic, throw trashes of wood, throw trashes of iron, scrap metals, and so on. So base your or quantify your observation on the numbers or data you gathered. Strength and weaknesses again. Quantitative method. Quantitative data are pieces of information that can be counted and which are usually gathered by surveys from large numbers of respondents, randomly selected for inclusion. So secondary data such as census data, government statistics, health system metrics, etc., are often included in quantitative research. So quantitative data is analyzed using statistical method. Quantitative approaches are best used to answer what, when, and who questions and are not well suited to how and why questions. So your data should be in accordance to the method of quantitative research. So unsa ang pag-answer? Unsa man? Ha? Unsay iyang approach? The what. What is the basis? Why is the city flooded? When is the time? So today it's raining. So maybe there's a lot of barangay na ay baha karon. Who? Kinsa tong mga tao? Kinsa may involved? No? So this is quantitative research. So I have here a table indicating the strength and its weaknesses. So findings, let's go to the strength. What is the strength of the quantitative research? Findings can be generalized if selection process is well designed and sample is representative of study population, relatively easy to analyze. Data can be very consistent, precise, and reliable. Pero ang iyang weaknesses, secondary data is sometimes not available or accessing available data is difficult to impose. So, another weakness, difficult to understand context of a phenomenon. Data may not be robust enough to explain complex issues. Let's go first to the strength. Unsay strength niya? Generalized. So, the data is generalized. No? If it is well-designed manner. So, if you gather all the data, specific data, dili kay mayon ka nga pila may kanang value or let's say flooding man no? For example, how much water, no, volume of water pours in this specific area. So maglisod ka, that is the weakness already, no? Maglisod man ka, pero may ka nga, if the flooding caused by the rain, okay, if the flooding caused by the rain, what else or what, let's say, action should be taken? So, manglimpyo ba? Dili ba manglimpyo? Pila may percentage manglimpyo? Pila percentage dili? but do not go to its available data, which is very difficult. Now, how much is the poor rains every time it rains on that specific area? Okay, pag-asa naman na siya. Okay? So, difficult to understand context of a phenomenon. That is one of the great example. It's difficult, no, to understand context of phenomenon ka. Muwan karon, gamay ba? Muwan dili. So, ato ka dito sa result nga iyang strength, which is easy to analyze. O kung mag-uwan, hinay man og dili. So, kinahanglan dili gid siya mubaha. Okay? Dili kay kung mag-uwag kusog, mubaha. Hirap mag-uwag hinay, dili. Nya kana sa aman mag-uwan og kusog. Okay? Kana sa aman mag-uwan og hinay. So data can be very consistent, precise, and reliable. That is strength of your quantitative method research. So importance of quantitative research: more reliable and objective, can use statistics to generalize some findings. So this is a summary. I put this one. Often reduce and restructures of a complex problem to limited numbers of variables. Looks at relationship between variables and can establish cause and effect in highly controlled circumstances. Test theories of hypotheses. Assumption sample is representative of the population. Subjectivity of research and methodology is recognized less detailed than qualitative data, and may miss a desired response from the participant. Okay?